No mai hara mai. Oh, I was going to say, gee, they stepped out of the room. In the... Oh,
Mea te kia koutou, koutou te haukaranga, ui maha o tēnei rohe, koutou aramai o e tai atu whāhi, anu to me. One of the good things about having a captive audience, you can say what you like, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about so tuatai, I want to thank Ariana and Chris for helping me put together a few things, and also for the mahi over the past few years. You see there's a bunch of gorse up there, and so I've come here and I've listened to a lot of tohunga experts and all the rest of it, you know, and I come from the angle of governance. You know, I'm the chair of our little iwi, and anybody been to an AGM lately? You know, you got to defend your decisions, eh? So, you know, there's that thing, you know, well, Kawiru and even this area here, they got different variations on pine, but there's a part there's a no mai tama, tai nei. So, you know, we're all born into new surroundings, and today, you know, every day's a learning day. So it's like when you get all this information thrown at you, mind-boggling things. You think, geez, it's like I'm a baby again or something. But you know, Māori, we know kia whakanungi a koe ki te kahi katoa. Well, a kahi katoa is a tree that grows on its own. You know, so there are times in your life when you have to stand on your own and stand by your decisions. Ki te tūmata kuru, well, you know, those prickly things you have to go through. Ki te Tairāwhiti, you know, the horse needle that stings you now and again. Those are all the things that your people do to you, eh? You know? Tairo e nāhau e kupe e waihui tau nei. So the things that Kupe left us, you know. And he was a navigator, and he was an explorer and an innovator. So, you know, we're all here today because we got open minds, I hope. We're all navigators, we're all explorers, and I have a lot of love for our ori. You know, there's another one, to the morning one, you look up, it goes, haramai e tama, puri tia te aka matua. You know, welcome, son. Grab that onto your parent vine. Whiti rere ake, ki te kawa e runga, ki te kawa e raro. And the kawairunga is something that's fixed. It's all the knowledge that's fixed, okay? Like water is wet, you can't change that, okay? Kawairaro is a moving jaw, things that change in life, and we have to adapt to all those moving things, you know? So, kia maua ki eta, kia rua I te puke, rua I te horo, rua matua take a tāne. So, what that talks about is things like the recesses of the mind. So, we've got to get it set up here, you know, and I hear a lot of the kōrero today, and I'm thinking, well, you know, a lot of our issues are because as parents we've left our culture behind and we haven't started right with our kids, singing the ori-oris, preparing them for the things that are going to face them in the future. So as a chair of our little thing, that's what I have to do, you know. You're not there to make popular decisions. You're there to make decisions that are good for the people that are up there in the future. So I see all the new things here, robotics, you name it, and you think, well, you know, that's the world we've got to face. But, you know, all the science in that, we've got kids now who can't even boil an egg, you know. And what happens when the power goes off, you know? So, I better get back to this thing. So, yeah, Ngāti Pahauwera and AgResearch, we've been working together on what we can best do with our land. So we had our treaty settlement, and these treaty settlements, people forget, they were driven by generally environmental concerns. People worried about their rivers, their kaimona and all that. So, yep, we got our land back, we got the money and all that, and that's what every the Tōrangi ones are worried about over there. But you know, so we got one farm back at Tairāwhiti, and then we bought 4 other farms, and we bought some other bits and pieces, and what we had to work out was, yes, very good, you want your land back, tangata whenua, yep, now, yeah, but you know, how do you make it pay and stop everyone mining, because they want the money for themselves in their little pet projects. So, we in the first instance, we worked with MPI, and then we did the AgResearch project. So, and our goals are pretty similar, you know, we want to progress high impact support for our landowners, and it's not just the farms we have, we want to try and integrate a lot of the little smaller whānau lands. One of the problems has been, we had a thing called consolidation, where the Crown took our land and they gave us back anything that wasn't really useful. They wanted us to do dairy on slopes like that, and then within about 5 years, 80% of the people walked off those lands. So we have got all those lands to look at and try and do something with as well. So we wanted to bring our traditional lands back into ownership and create some positive opportunities for whānau. So we're well known as a people, we're our shearers, our scrub cutters and all that sort of things, but we do have to say, yeah, there's a limit in terms of what we can do with that. We've got to actually get into some other things. And so we do have one of those kids clubs as well for IT stuff, and you know, we're trying to explore all these areas. And so we'll be trying to hook into this new world. So our farms we picked them because of the one, underdeveloped, because they're cheaper. Not those, you know, glossy, you name it, whatever, unfenced. But one of the things we realised is that we did need to open our minds up to who could give us the best advice. And AgResearch, they have worked with us in terms of populating some models so that we can, you know what's in that paddock, what the soil is like, what the fertility is like, how best to utilise it, how we can integrate the use of them, because they have different features. Like, you know, I'll just refer back to our old people, you know, they grew their potatoes at different altitudes because they didn't have a fridge. So these ones will come right now, and then these ones will come right later, and all the rest of it. So with farming, you can do the same thing. You get good grass over there, you move your stock around, and you learn from you populate your model so that you're actually following a similar thing. Here we have the scorecard that contains not only the production performance stuff, but information whereby we can actually justify what we do to our people. So we had our AGM about a couple of weeks ago. Same person asking, you know, they learn all these things, you know. If it's not measured, it's not managed, and all this. And, you know, come back with the same, or you know, so you got to have that information to say, yep, we have got something that measures this, we have got something that measures that, and we're fortunate that although we projected that we would not make a profit because we've been spending a lot of our money on development, we actually did. So we surprised ourselves and everybody else, and a lot of that was from having good tools and the ability to make good decisions. So, what else I've written down here? Okay, so we're inundated with a lot of information today, but we've got to remember that 8 people in the world, they have the same amount of wealth as all the rest of us in the world. And they're pulling the strings, and they're only worried about making more money, so we have to get smarter about how we can get our share. And so any of our produce, we've got to start commanding a higher value for them, for our produce, rather than being commodity producers. The mafia is taking over all the fisheries. There's the mafia that's taken over all the freezing works now, you know, so where are we sitting? Hey? We've got to start empowering ourselves, working together collaboratively. I know there's all these different names for different iwi, but you know, in the whakapapa, we're all the same, you know, we've got to start thinking about how we can, like in Pahauwera, we have to work so we can develop our scale, but we actually need a greater scale, a Māori scale. Okay, what else have I written here? So, I just wanted to talk about how, so the AgResearch benefits. So we've now got a comprehensive report on our lands that we can refer to gain a better understanding of the challenges and opportunities. Now the old style of dealing with farmers was you had this consultant who come in, and he was probably there for about 15 years, and everybody just went like that. And whether or not they put fertiliser on was whether how much the backhander was or whatever it is, whether you got a couple of bottles of whiskey, whether, you know, okay, I'll go with that one. So, you know, we've moved on from that. Okay, we moved on from that. So now we've also got tools now to challenge our managers. You know, you're supposed to, as a governor, you're supposed to manage your manager. Hey? But some of them, you know, they think they know everything. You know, and then they tell you 80%, but they don't tell you the rest. So, you know, when things go wrong, you know, what happened here? You know, so we do need these tools like what AgResearch can provide us with. So we're on the button about everything. What's needed in that paddock? Why you put some stuff over there when it shouldn't? You know. Data and modelling that provides greater timing. So you've got to have your, you know, someone referred to it before about timing being you've got to get your timing right. When you put your fertiliser, when you put your seed in, when you harvest, to maximise things. Got comparative data of the different farms to enable effective integrated stock transfers to maximise pasture nutrient benefits. So when you move the cows over there or whatever, so that you don't have erosion or whatever. One of the things about that report was I learned there's 8 different types of erosion. I didn't know that. A great understanding of fertiliser management, improved mapping. You know, you can actually see, oh, I didn't know there was paddocks down over the other side of the hill. We had a farm manager who it was a leasee, he took over one of our farms, and then he said, oh yeah, I just found some more paddocks down there. You know, so, and this is where we can get to in Māori land when there's a lot of scrub, you don't know what's over there. Incorporating the smaller holdings of whānau land into feedlot and calf rearing programs. So there are opportunities whereby whānau with small blocks of land, you can say that, well, you juggers rear the calves this year, you get some money, when they get to a certain size, we'll buy them back off you. So, yeah. I think I've got to hand over to Chris about now. You better leave him some time. Oh yeah, that one there was about, you know, this joker with the sword, he wants to charge into a fight, and he won't listen to the advisor and say, hey, here's this machine gun box.
Tēnā koutou ngā iwi o Tiranganui a Kiwa, ngā tai manuhiri, a rongo whakaata, pe aitanga mahaki, tēnei te mihi atu ki a koutou. Tai atu rā ki Ngāti Konohi, Ngāti Pahauwera tonu, tēnei te mihi, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Ko korohiki toku ingoa, no Ngāti Maniapoto hau, i te taha o tōku pāpā, no Ngāti Wai, me te rarawa te au pauri i te taha o tōku māma. Nō rei, tēnei te mihi atu ki a koutou. They say I come from AgResearch, but 50 years before that I came from Maniapoto and so it's better that I just speak off the top of my head about my experiences working in a CRI and working in an agricultural area. I don't have an agricultural background and I've never worked in a CRI before I stepped into AgResearch. But I have worked with Māori throughout the country in different areas like energy and local government and fisheries and stuff like that. But we work with Toro, and I want to say a little bit about this, just a little bit, because technical stuff isn't my expertise. But the people that we work with at AgResearch have a huge passion for farms, pastoral farms, whether it's deer, sheep and beef, dairy sheep, dairy goat, those kind of new innovative things. And they're all over it, and they just throw their life at it and all their brains, and they do some wonderful things. So this modelling is based on a tool called AgInform, and it looks at your farm system and it can tell where the forage best grows, where it doesn't grow. What do you do with steep hill country? Because in Aotearoa there's places where we just shouldn't farm, because it was just like that. What happened to that? So it tells you how to use all your resources most efficiently. But I think that the better thing about the tools is that what I notice about Māori farms is that a lot of them are, fortunately or unfortunately, managed and consulted by non-Māori people. And although there's the landowners there that are Māori, what I've noticed by going throughout the country is that the Māori farms look a lot like the Pākehā farms, or the mainstream farms, not just the Pākehā farms, in which cases they seem to be really heavy into production. And so, you know, that just doesn't feel right. And so our team in AgResearch said, well, what should a farm look like if you're a Māori person? And so I heard somebody talking today about kaitiakitanga, manaakitanga, and you know, your connection to the land. And then you think like, well, some people get on a car or a van and zoom around their land at an AGM, and then they come back out and they go wherever and have the AGM, and that's the experience of the farm. Yet on the day, back in the day, in my father's day and all that, the people still lived on the land. And so they were close to the land, and so they knew the land, and the land was part of them. And so we think that, well, so what would happen if we turned the clock back to us as Māori people in our culture, and we took that and used that as the focal point for our farms? Then how would it look? Rather than, you know, the amount of kgs and the amount of phosphates and production, stuff like that. How would it work if we just reversed it right back and thought, okay, what are the most important things for us as Māori people and the land, the whenua? Our whenua tupu, our whenua tupuna, how then could we live in a more sustainable way? And, you know, like, I think it's very fortunate that I think, and other people at AgResearch think, that that is also aligned with where the future of farming is. So the future of farms, and if you look at some really nice Māori farms, what you'll find is that they're not just farms, they're like multiple enterprises. And so they use every bit of that land in the right way. So you can do honey, for example. Everybody, my own lot in Maniapoto, oh, they're rushing off to look for honey. You know, they come over here and they see all the honey and stuff like that, and they think that's great. That's just one thing that you can do. You've got the bush, you've got the rivers, and where the rivers are denuded, you can, you know, plant them up with different species that enjoy that part of the land. But out of those different species, you could look at the bioactives. And so at AgResearch, while we have a picture of an on-farm situation, you've heard your whanaunga Jane there talking, and our whanaunga Sly about other parts of the value chain. And so what we see in Māoridom, which is really exciting, is that they think about what's on the farm, but they want to get there. And then they think what's between here and there, and you've got processors. And processors take that product and they brand it their own way. And then they sell it. And then you get a lot of Māori today thinking like, well, we can do that. So you've got Miraka, for example. And then I saw Richard Jones here today that's doing something else. And so you've got them speaking about, why don't we take our own milk, do our own thing with them, and then send it straight to a market. And that way it gives you the vehicle for what they call provenance. They call it about who we are as Māori people, our intergenerational connection to the land, the fact that we're kaitiaki and that we should be concerned about the mauri of the land. We should be concerned about water quality. We should be concerned about not just our kids being fencers and stockmen and stuff like that, and if they're lucky raising for managers, but how can we build a whole industry around our farms that is sustainable? And with the technology that we have amongst all the other CRIs, I think we all look at things pretty much the same way, and I think we can do it. So I get to go to some industry conferences and stuff like that when I say, kia ora, my name's Chris Korege, Māori Vivanas, blah, blah, blah. A lot of what they tell us is that we can lead it out because we have the ability to work together. We don't have huge capital sunk into bricks and mortar, so we're nimble and we adopt technology pretty quickly. You just hear this all the time. I'm not making it up. I just listen to these fellows that know more than I do, and then you think, this is true. It seems to be that way. Then we hear a lot of people that go over to China, Brazil, Argentina, and they work in systems like that. And they tell us that, geez, New Zealand, you better hurry up and change your system pretty smart, because there are farms out there that are actually green, and they can actually go to market. And when you come back and look what we've done with our land and our soil over the last 100 years, it isn't that green if you look up underneath the carpet. And so I think that us people as Māori, we feel for the land. We just feel for the land. I know that all other farmers do as well, but I know that we always have because of part of our ethos. So then why don't we use that? And then so if you have that, our culture, ngā kōrero, whakaeke ngā kōrero, tuku iho, ngā kōrero taonga, e rā mea katoa I tuku mai o mātua tūpuna, poured that on the land and made that, dare I say it, a business, but that's not the issue. But a business helps us to sustain ourselves. And then our children would see being Māori is actually worth something. You can get pride out of it. And so I've worked in things like restoration of rivers, and you work with the young kids and they're planting along there. When they plant along the rivers, their heart grows bigger. You know, they just feel good because they know that they're doing something right. And then I thought, like, well, what if you had farming like that? You know, so you're not just like, yeah, the kill and slaughter stuff is like that, but what if our children were happy that they were using their own tikanga on that farm in lots of different ways, and it would make them feel proud. And that 2 minutes, okay. And then so that, maybe that's an answer to why we don't do so well at school. Because I think that your heart comes first, then your brain develops, and then, you know, you step out into the outside world. And so I think our children are a lot like that. They need something to live for. And I think if we did it, if we flipped it on its head and did it that way, not only would it be good for our future generations, be good for our land, it would be good for business, but it'd be good for our culture too. So that's the only kōrero I wanted to say, nothing too technical, just to say that's how I piece it all together in my own language and I know my clever colleagues can say it a lot cleverer than that, but that's how I see it. That's what I've learned, and I think that's the way forward for us. And you know those kōrero at Hilton at the door there, when you go over to these marketplaces and stuff like that, and I've been overseas, and you know the Māori culture, anyone that's been overseas knows what sort of people we turn into over there. We're like, you know, I don't know what happens, so we can make those connections with the other cultures really well. And if there's somebody Chinese just out of the way, I will just do something like sing a waiata, and that'll blow anyone else away and stuff like that. But so okay, that's very, you know, a light-hearted way of looking at how we could do things in the market, directly to the market. And if the industry doesn't help us, swerve them. Go around them, just keep going, that's all I have to say. And one of the last points is, use our CRIs, drag us out of our shells, and demand what you want. Because that's the thing. A lot of our money is tagged to, oh, you've got to go out and VM it. VM means Vision Mā Tauranga. And Vision Mā Tauranga means, I don't know what that means, but I know what it means to be a Māori. They use Mā Tauranga Māori, Vision Mā Tauranga and stuff like that, and you can talk to them about whanaumas and go, Vision what? Like, oh, rounding us up. You've got to help us connect with Māori communities, but the point is that we can help. We want to help, and we need to learn how to help, which means a lot of this, not a lot of that for us in CRIs. It means a lot of this. But we need to connect, not to brainy Māoris as such, but people have got the heart. So I'm going to cut it off there. I thought it would be